Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Cancer. If Cancer is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Let's get started. Let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say? Okay. Okay, and I just like to look at this over in all these different directions so that I can kind of see the formations. Okay, so immediately I'm seeing a figure here. It almost looks like it's a person in a long cloak or a robe. They're wearing a hat. It kind of almost looks like, it reminds me of a wizard hat maybe. But I feel like this is kind of like a grandfather archetype, an older, wise, masculine figure. Okay, I think that they're important to you because they are presenting with this kind of hat. I have to think that they had some kind of relationship with spirit, with the esoteric possibly. Maybe they were somewhat of a philosopher, somebody who had eyes to see. Okay, and they traveled a path that was probably on the fringes of society, on the fringes of your family. I get a strong sense of kind of otherness, right? To be othered, to be kind of the black sheep, or to be singled out, to be shunned to some degree, or just not to be like brought into the fold as others, or to the degree that others are, right? I think part of this though was also maybe a decision made by this person. Okay, so I think that this is somebody that's very important to you because in some way excuse me, I feel that you might kind of lead a similar path. You might hold a similar position in your own family. Okay, you might be somebody who, I don't know if it's exactly misunderstood, but maybe overlooked. Maybe not many in your family, bloodline, social group, or like closer community go out of their way to know you, to relate to you, to spend time with you. But in the same breath, I think that maybe you're not super mad about that. Like, I think that you're maybe somebody that, well, I'm reading for Cancer, so I feel that maybe this is kind of the energy you give out. You were kind of shielded and maybe a little bit of a more solitary person just by nature. Okay. I also see above this excuse me, this grandfather figure, there is an angel, a winged being. So I think that this is related to kind of a guardianship that this person has over you. I don't know if they're past or if they're still around, but they have been somebody that was like a mentor, somebody that watches over you, somebody that maybe isn't in your life all the time, right? You're not necessarily hanging out every single day, or I don't know, maybe you don't live close to each other, they don't travel, or maybe you don't travel to see them now that you're an older person, an adult, young adult, you know, and beyond. Or maybe they have passed, okay? Whatever it is, this person has always supported you, and I feel made you felt seen by them, heard by them. They always had a kind word for you, although I don't think that they were necessarily a super overtly kind person. They were kind, but they maybe didn't have like a kind personality, if that makes sense. They weren't very sweet, but honest and not often very frivolous. Could have a fun time, definitely, but always was kind of like dropping knowledge on you, right? Giving you guidance and really caring about who you are deeply, right? And also just like unconditionally accepting and loving and, you know, there. Okay. So I feel that this energy is very, very tied to you on a very deep level. Okay. Let's see. Now, I was looking at, we have this kind of, it looks kind of like a feminine formation with a long dress possibly and a walking kind of mode. There's a little heart. I see maybe a little person, but I don't think it's like a baby necessarily or a younger person, but I almost get this sense of like a like an effigy of some kind, or like, okay, so I'm looking at this. It reminds me of a goddess, like a Greek goddess, okay, a Roman goddess possibly. You know, maybe something like Hera, or one of the like chief mother goddesses. And I almost think that this is like kind of a votive statue or some kind of effigy. I almost wonder if you keep some kind of goddess statue in your home that is important to you. Maybe you were it was given to you, or I don't know, but I think that I feel like this is here because this is very much about kind of how you, at least currently, are kind of aligning your self with a patron, deity, some like, or an archetype. Okay. And I think this is just kind of a verification of that alignment. So I'm thinking it's like, you know, like Hera, or maybe Tanit, or I keep thinking Juno, but that might just be my own my own kind of relationship. And I don't think it's like a Diana or Artemis, or, you know, these younger goddesses. It's a more one of the older mother goddesses. So anyways, I think that this is important if, you know, you don't have a statue and you have a relationship with a goddess right now. I think that if you have the time, money, go ahead and get a statue, bring it into your home, make it an altar, or put it somewhere elevated for you. I think that'll bring good luck, good energy, safety, and clarity into your home. Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing a 7. So keep a 7 in mind going forward this week. let's see. I also am seeing a figure that looks like it's in a meditative state, sitting in front of this. It looks like a large sea, but also to me, I think it looks like so much like a cave. I think that you are really, as you often do, Cancer, going into a more solitary state in the next weeks. Okay. I think that, and I'm trying to remember what last week's was about. I really cannot recall. I usually kind of take a look, but I really don't. I feel like it was something like, you know, you were getting out a little bit more, but I feel that you know, you are watery people. You shift around quite a bit, especially when it is like, you know, something aligns in such a way and you're like kind of going back into your, I think of like a hermit crab going into its new shell, right? So I think that there will be kind of a retreat back into a solitary position. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I think it is coming. I also see kind of a shoe or a boot. So I wonder if you are going to be doing some kind of kicking some things out, maybe some cleaning, which would make sense. We're in that spring cleaning zone, or in the southern hemisphere, fall cleaning, which people don't talk about that much, but we do nest in the fall. And so there's, you know, reorganizing, getting things set up, and, you know, putting things away, getting rid of stuff. So there is also that fall cleaning. Not as popular, but it is still a thing, I would say. So I feel kind of a bit of a reorganization happening in the home space. Okay. Now I was looking at this and it reminds me of, and I'm trying to think exactly what it is. It's like it's a snake. It's not the Ouroboros exactly, but I think it's a solar shield. If I remember right, and it's kind of a snake that is it's kind of the middle of the snake, and it comes up, and it, you know, I look at so many symbols and you know, sacred relations and symbols, and you know, stories and whatever. Ugh. My brain doesn't keep it all. Sometimes I have to look it up, but I don't have anything to look it up with right here. So I'm thinking definitely I'm going to make my own relation in my own head. If this is wrong, I'm sorry, I apologize. But I'm thinking that this is a solar shield, and it is enwrapped with that snake, that serpentine energy, which could be, you know, that kundalini energy. But I think really too, this is very much about you know, the divine knowledge, to the divine inspiration. And I think that this kind of makes sense. We have this beautiful kind of mother goddess energy, that kind of Sophic clarity, divine bestowing of the, you know, the sacred words and these kinds of things, the concepts, and everything kind of in a lighter balance, right? And so I think that this is probably really a time of creation. And I know that we talked about this at least a couple weeks ago for you, Cancer, but I, you know, often I find that Cancer, especially solar Cancer people, are maybe some of the more creative people, also big researchers, really into you know, compiling information, studying it, and making things of the information that they are kind of swimming in, right? So I think that, you know, we're just kind of in another cycle of more of that, and could be kind of the catalyst for this more solitary energy coming in, because you just like to kind of, you know, darken the room, get on your computer and, you know, or whatever your medium is, and just kind of, you know, pour the hours away while you are in that creative flow. And I think that, you know, makes sense. And it seems that is where we are. Okay. And let's see, what else do we have? Okay, and so we have to, let's go to this one first. So I have a person with their arm elevated. It looks like they're holding some kind of pen. And then another person behind them that almost looks like they're wearing a crown and has this wing. I think this is, it just keeps coming. It just makes sense with every four. It's that it looks like that kind of visiting of the muse, right? To be kind of tapped on the head with that creative flow, with that inspiration, with that just that beautiful, you know, sustenance, creative sustenance, just flowing through your veins, through your mind, through your body, through your spirit, right? And in getting to work with it, you know, making use of it. And, you know, I think probably some wonderful things will be created in this period of time. So definitely don't ignore it. Don't get lost in, you know, choosing your paper and your pens and what journal you want to use, and, you know, whatever, or getting lost in like watching TV or playing video games, or, you know, the things that distract you from getting your creativity executed. So, you know, give yourself some time to do that. You will not be mad that you did, I promise. Okay, and then we have this beautiful oh no, I just touched it. We have this beautiful enthroned side profile being. It kind of looks like Thoth. It kind of has that beak, right? So I think that, well, we know Thoth is an Egyptian god that is related to magic and knowledge and the arts and philosophy, and also a psychopomp, so kind of can drift between the underworld and above, and the keeper of, a caretaker of souls and a guide, and a fairly popular deity, I would say. So I think that this, you know, all kind of relates. I think that it is a good time also while you're in this really creative flow. Maybe be reading while you're, I don't know, whatever you want to read, I guess. There, you know, are a lot of I think really it's a good time to be looking at the esoteric writings, treaties, whatever mythology, the things that really kind of speak to you, that kind of bring up the imagery, allegory, that you know, I think that you enjoy probably, and I think that yeah, I don't, you know, I think that honestly it's just a good practice to vary, you know, the things that you are drawing your creativity from, your inspiration from, you know, all the different kinds of media. I think, you know, if you listen to music, maybe just you know, making time for you to listen to music, watching some media that you like, movies, anime, I don't know, whatever whatever you enjoy, but reading as well. Okay. I don't necessarily think one is any better than the other. I'm not really like the type, I like to indulge in all kinds of art. So, and I'm every single day looking at different mediums, and I think it's so important to draw from those things and have a lot of different imagery in your mind, not just like the regular stuff we see in social media places or in our newsfeed, but to really look at art, even if it's digital, to kind of immerse yourself in other people's creativity, other kinds of concepts. I know I talk about it probably in a lot of my readings, but I really have such an affinity for poetry, and that's kind of my chosen reading for pleasure. And so anyways, I think it's important to do all of these things if you can. I sometimes am bewildered at thinking about the fact that there are people out there that are not looking at art and not listening to music and not, reading the things that, evoke emotions and imagery in their minds. And not that it's like some superiority thing, but I personally would wither away, I think, because I find so much, it enlivens my own interior landscape, right? And so I think if you haven't been, or maybe you have been, maybe you always do, I don't know, but, give some focus to that while you're creating, and I think that is always important. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We have an L. We have an L, or is it a golf club? No, I saw, I was out today and I saw that, a few weeks ago where I live, it was very cold and there was snow on the ground, and now it's, almost 90 degrees the last couple days, and the grass is suddenly green, and every person that you could imagine is out at the golf course, and I couldn't believe that it's April. It just comes on so fast up here. It's like one moment, it's one season, the next moment, completely different. So anyways, I see an L, an L, and let's see. A little shirt. What are you? Yeah, so, yeah. So, with the shirt, it just immediately what came to mind, was change. Like changing your clothes, or shedding your skin, or like giving somebody the shirt off your back. And I'm thinking looping this back to the beginning. And I kind of get this feeling of, maybe almost that you'll be doing some of this work to honor this grandfather that was so important, or is so important in your life. And maybe this particular turn towards being solitary, contemplation, creativity, research creativity, will be a cycle in honor of this person and the strength. And of course, I didn't even talk about this, but we'll just show it for a second. The Nine of Wands, which is in the Thoth decks, really just related to strength, okay? And, you know, that lunar and solar energy imbalance. And so I think that this could be a time to really kind of do this work for that consciousness in yourself with that archetype, with that particular archetype. And strangely, I'm thinking, like, do you have like a journal that is your grandfather's, or this grandfather-like figure? I almost like wonder if you have some kind of insight into like into their personal life, their personal thoughts. And I think that it seems like in my mind that this is like a very moving thing, very much identify with the words and the feelings. And it feels like in a life where you have felt relatively alone a lot of the time, it feels like you could have written these words, and you feel a strong kinship. And okay, that's the reading. And there we are. Okay, thank you so much, Cancer. I appreciate the time that you've spent with me tonight. And if you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps me get into the algorithm. I'm trying to slowly grow the channel, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing so. I would also appreciate that. Other than that, if you want to leave a comment, I love hearing from each and every one of you. You are all so kind, so sweet, and you know, taking the time to express yourself. You know, I really, it speaks to my heart. Okay, thank you. We will talk again soon, Cancer.